And that's why people get burnt out. They get tired chasing the rainbow when they don't realize they already got the bag of gold already. Because success isn't where you at, Bert, and where you going. Success is where you at, how far you came.
Hey everyone, I'm Burton and welcome to PropStream Pros, the podcast where we dive into the lives of real estate professionals who've made it. In each episode, we'll explore how they got started, challenges they faced, and the strategies that helped them succeed, so that you can learn from their journey and apply those insights to your own path. Whether you're just getting started or already building a portfolio, there's something here for everyone. So make sure to subscribe, follow, and join us as we talk to professionals who've made their own success.
On this episode of PropStream Pros, Burton sits down with Thach Nguyen to discuss what it takes to thrive in real estate for over 30 years. Thach shares practical investing strategies, powerful mindset shifts, and the importance of mentorship for creating long-term success.
Hi, I'm Burton, host of PropStream Pros. Today, we're joined by Thach Nguyen, a real estate investor, developer, and educator with more than 3 decades of experience. But beyond the deals and the multiple businesses, Thach's journey began at the age of 5 when his family came to the United States from Vietnam with just a suitcase and $100. In this episode, we're going to dive into the mindset that's kept him going all this time, how he's adapting the BRRRR strategy for today's market using ADUs, and most importantly, the lessons he's learned about building lasting wealth from ground all the way up. Please help me welcome Mr. Thach Nguyen. Thach, what's going on, man?
What's up, my brother? It's been a while since I talked to you, baby.
Well, again, I'm honored that you're here, man. I'm a huge fan of who you are, but most importantly, what you do in our space. How not only are you implementing everything you've learned in real estate for yourself to help better your life and your family's life, but just the fact that you pour into the community. So I want to start with real estate. Yeah. How long have you been dabbling in real estate?
I started real estate as a realtor in 1991.
1991. Holy
baby.
Moly.
Yeah.
Okay, and you haven't pivoted since. You've been in real estate since.
No, you know what I mean? I started at 21 years old, and I started as a realtor, and I just been on this journey of real estate. Many facets of it, from being a realtor, being a wholesaler, being a fix and flip, being a builder, and now being a developer, right? So all of that, of course, and then as a long-term investor too. But it's been the same sandbox, but multiple different, things inside that same sandbox.
That's amazing. So we're talking here 30 plus years of just you being heavily invested and dedicated and devoted into real estate. And not only that, but you, from the sound of things, it looks like you're literally a Swiss Army knife when it comes to real estate solutions, because you're a realtor, you've developed, you're a wholesaler. Heck, you probably do creative seller financing, and you're holding on to a portfolio of your own as well. So this is actually really cool. I think our audience members definitely learn a lot from you.
Yeah, and what's crazy, I want everybody to know is I started like that, and today I'm still in it. I'm still, wholesaling. I'm still fixing and flipping. I'm still building, single family, multi-family, apartment building, doing new construction, development. I'm still doing and buying rental still. So I'm still doing it today at 57 years old.
Let me ask you this, Thach. 30 plus years in any field is quite a lot, you know, and a lot of people, to be frank, whatever that field might be, whether it's real estate, whether it's technology, whether it's maybe even a sport, sometimes they can get burned out along the way. What has helped you not feel that burnout throughout these, 3 decades of being in real estate?
I tell you what it is, bro. And I learned this from my past. And we're going to talk a lot about this, okay? If you're trying to get somewhere, then you're going to get burned out. And what I mean is this. Everybody have this goal. When you broke, man, if I could just make 50 grand a year, I'm good. Then you get to 50 grand and you go, but damn, Burton make 100 grand a year. My goal is now 100 grand a year. You get to 100 grand, the next guy in front of you, smarter, wiser, richer, 200 grand, 300 grand, 400. So my friend said to me a long, long time ago, my mentor says, Thach, you came in Vietnam with nothing. If you make 100 grand a year, you already arrived. And the problem why we get burnt out is we have this expectation. When I get to $1 million a year, then I can honestly say I arrive, I'm successful, I'm somebody. But the problem is the rainbow keep going out again. And so what I realized is that I need to stop trying to arrive in real estate and start embracing I'm already arrived and just enjoy it as I keep going. And that's the difference. Deep, but
that very deep. And I, as you were saying that, I self-reflected really quick.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that. And you're right. I love the analogy that you gave. Like, at the end of the rainbow, there's that bag of cash that everyone's trying to go after.
That's right.
But when you get there, some of us aren't satisfied. No. What ends up happening is we look back up in the sky and we see there's another rainbow
That's right.
out there.
That's right.
And we start heading in that
That's
direction.
right. And
but
the problem is
I
it just
love
don't
that.
end, bro. And that's why people get burnt out. They get tired chasing the rainbow when they don't realize they already got the bag of gold already. Because success isn't where you at, Bert, and where you going. Success is where you at, how far you came.
That's amazing. And again, very wise words. Can I ask you a very honest question? Yeah. Clearly, that wasn't something that you learned right off the bat. You mentioned that your mentor taught you that. So two things. One, how long did it take you to finally, get a mentor on board to support you in your journey? Like, did you have a mentor from the get-go, or were you doing the real estate stuff?
When I started as a real estate agent, my first 3 years, I was struggling as a real estate agent because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the mindset, to do what it takes to be successful. I didn't have the right strategy, right? I didn't have accountability, right? And so after the third year as a realtor, I was going to quit until I met a real estate mentor where I paid him at the time $1,000 a month, which is like $10 million a year. I mean, $10 million a month today. You know what I mean? In 94, right? And I paid him $1,000 a month, and he coached me every single week, right? For probably 10, 15 years. And so as that transition, right, I end up getting my next mentor, which is a real estate investor mentor, right? And then a business mentor, right? And then, of course, later on, I got a spiritual mindset mentor, and then I got a mindset mentor, and I got a fitness mentor. And so today, I still have a lot of them. I got a business mentor. I have a real estate investor mentor still. I have a mindset mentor, a spiritual mentor, and a fitness mentor. Like, I just got back from the gym just now with my fitness trainer. So I still have mentors all around me.
I love this. Okay, let's talk on this topic really quick because, as a consumer as well, myself, when we think of the word mentor, when we think about handing someone cash to teach you something, right, there's some skepticism behind it.
Always.
As consumers, scam, is this real? How, and not even that. Sometimes I think ego plays a role here where I know everything. I don't need a mentor. I can figure it out myself, right? There's YouTube, there's whatever resource, there's AI even today. Right. So let me ask you this, that you have multiple mentors for multiple different things in your life that you need support in. From your point of view, in your opinion, for those that are on the fence or thinking what most of us think is, a mentor, I don't need it. What's your thought on that? Like, what would you say to them about really considering?
I'll give you an example. I walked out of the gym today, and I said to myself, "Man, if I didn't have Robel, my fitness coach, I would have showed up to the gym today." Right? That's one. I walked away today, and I did leg workout today, and my leg felt strong today. And I said, I came to my wife. I said, "This day with my leg is just strong. I can just do a lot." and I realized this as I was driving home. It's crazy too. You talking about this. I'm 57 years old. I already know what to do. I already know how to work on legs. But the difference is the days that I don't feel like it. My wife didn't feel good today. Usually her and I go to the gym together. right? But I have a fitness coach. So I already pay him, right? So technically, either I'm going to show up or I'm going to skip out on him, and I'm still going to have to pay him. So Cammy was like, not feeling good. She stayed home. I said, I got to go. So I go, and I was struggling getting at it. I go work out. Now, I'm there, I'm working out. And now, the days that if I don't have a coach, I wouldn't push myself like how he pushed me today. Okay? I wouldn't push myself. Today, he pushed me, you know what I mean? Right? And so I had to keep up. Okay? Now, I know what to do, Bert, but I wouldn't have pushed myself. I wouldn't even show it up.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And
Absolutely.
so when people out there thinking about real estate, yeah, you might know what to do, or you might not know 100% what to do, right? If somebody already owned 100 property and done this now with multiple different facets of real estate, wholesaling, flipping, new construction, development, and if you want to get into that space and you want to grow your portfolio, you want to scale it, and you want to do it faster, then you wouldn't go talk to a guy who haven't done it, and you wouldn't do it on yourself because you don't know what you don't know. So I say, go hire somebody that you respect. Go hire somebody that you have seen that been consistent. Like for me, if you watch me on social media, I only post what I do. So then you can ask yourself, if that's the person that you respect and you see he's showcasing what he do, and he, on top of the strategy, is he the human being that represent what you want also? So I don't represent just doing real estate. I represent family. I represent raising your kids. I represent mindset. I represent, balance. I represent, not grind, but align. That's who I represent. And so when you out there looking for a mentor, you got to see all that as a package. And then, right, if you don't know what you don't know, then hire them. But here's the thing. I always say to people, if you don't pay for mentorship, you still pay for your error. And you'll pay for your mistake. You see what I mean? Because the mistake costs more than the mentorship.
Yep.
Always. You see what I mean?
Wise words. There's so much to unpack there. First off, I love where did you get the grind? Don't grind a line.
Hey, listen, everything I say with you is life experience.
I love that. And you're absolutely right. You might think $1,000 a month is a lot of money, but that one small real estate mistake could cost you not just more than $1,000, but essentially could pull the whole empire down because of that, especially if you're not protecting.
And we're not even talking about, if we're just talking about the mistake people make in real estate, easy, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000. But we're not even talking about the mental space that it takes also. Because when you're losing $50,000, you lost the money, but you're pissed off. Your mindset's not there. You go home, right? And you bitching at the kids. You bitching at the wife. You kick the cat. That's what I call it. Zig call it, you kick the cat. That costs way more. And now you're mentally derailed. Not for weeks, but sometimes for months. And then that costs you more. And the avalanche is worse and worse. It's no different than fitness.
Very valid point. It's not just the financial loss; it's the mental effect, the emotional,
the emotion.
It's how friends and families can instantly turn to enemies because of it. So
overnight.
Very valid point. And you actually answered one of my questions, because I was going to ask you, what is it that one should look out for when trying to, acquire a mentor? And you said it, having the track record, obviously the experience and being still in the industry. But you said something that's very, very important. That last part is that make sure they are someone who you feel that you are as well, that this person represents something very, very important
beyond money.
It is like you said, is in alignment with you. And sometimes that's way beyond money. So amazing stuff. And thank you for answering the question on, the mentorship stuff. Because a lot of people in our space it's not just our space. I think it's just in general, a lot of people either have a little bit of ego that's preventing them from getting that mentor, or there's just that skepticism. And so I really appreciate you sharing that. Not only are mentors good, but for you yourself, 30 plus years in the business, and here you are with multiple mentors for multiple aspects of your life. I love that. Let's talk about real estate really quick. So, If one were to go on your Instagram and social media right now, Thach, it's very obvious and prevalent that, while you do a lot of real estate, the two most things that you focus more on, or that the audience sees, is the BRRRR strategy, and then implementing ADUs to maximize ROI on your investment. So let's talk about both. The BRRRR strategy. Now, for someone who's hearing that, no, I'm not cold right now. It's fairly warm. I'm in Southern California. The BRRRR is actually a real estate strategy. And Thach, can you break down what that stands for?
Yeah, it stands for buy it as a fixer, okay? Rehab it, rent it out, refi it, and then basically take the original down payment you put in the deal and use that money to repeat the process. And if you do this right, you can get a lot of your original down payment down when you put it down, to recycle that same down payment and do it again and again and again.
Absolutely. Right? And correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of plays here. Not just are you getting your down payment back, but then now the property is cash flowing because it's being rented out. And then there's a long-term play because you're also acquiring appreciation throughout the years with these assets. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
How long have you been doing the BRRRR strategy for?
Man, it started for me when I started flipping houses. And I realized, back in the days, I was selling so many good property, right? I look back today, I'm thinking, man, I should have not sold any of those properties.
Hold on. Right? When you say good property, because there's lots of properties out there, what does good mean? Like, what is good? Like, to Thach, what do you qualify as good?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's in a location that it's going to be hard to duplicate it again.
Location,
Always,
baby.
Right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Number two is the layout, the design, the style of the property. You know what I mean? Right? When you find one of those...
What do you mean? Hold on. What do you mean by that? Like, how can the style, the layout be very important to you? Or why do you put that as a heavy metric in your book?
I use your example because you're in Southern California. Okay?
Yeah.
I use Long Beach, for example. If you find a nice, cute, Mediterranean style house in Long Beach, that's already nice, clean, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, you're paying close to $900,000 for it. That property back in the days was probably only $250,000, $300,000.
And you can confirm that using PropStream's transaction history.
All
but
day.
You're absolutely right. All day and all night, those houses
all
are
night.
$200,000.
Okay, now that type of property is hard to find because they don't make a lot of those. So when I look at property, I look at location, I look at the style, because the style what buyer buy for. Because I represent a lot of buyers. They go, oh my God, this house looks so cute. So you want to have those properties. One day when you sell them, you're going to get top premium dollar for those property. Layout. There's property where the layout, right, are flowing. Now you can actually rehab it and you can turn it in, make it layout. Yes. So style, layout, location, right? That's it. And again, if it's location is great, but if it's on a corner lot, it's awesome. If it has an alley in Long Beach, it's precious. Those are the type of property you might not find them often. When you find them, you got to keep them, because those are, again, how many property that are cute that has an alley in Long Beach for sale?
Yeah.
When they go up, they sell literally within 24 hours. Why? Everybody love that stuff. So today, I look for those type of property, but I'm looking for a property like that that's beat up.
I love that. So, and this is very important because, when I'm out in events, one of the key observation I've noticed is that, everyone's just looking for a really deeply discounted property. But you said something that actually is really, really cool. I never really thought of actually maybe adding that filter when you're analyzing properties, but you always have the buyer in mind. So not only are you like, hey, yes, we need a deeply discounted property that's ugly, and we're obviously gonna get a good deal on it, but you also have that buyer in mind way before even signing a contract. You're sitting at it from a buyer's perspective, like, hey, not only is this property deeply discounted and looking horrible, but corner lot, it has an alley, the layout's really great, and maybe we can add a few things here and there to make it even, as you said, cuter. Right. Because you're right, a buyer in most cases, not all of them are going to be investor buyers. Some of these buyers are families that just want to live there for the rest of their lives. So I love that. I love that you always have that in mind. What is the buyer going to think about this property?
And
is it cute or not?
I work as an agent for so many years. I know, even when you pull up, you're like, oh shit, the curb appeal on this motherfucker is good. Right? Stylish. Oh my God. So when you get those, right, sometimes you can't even put a price on them. The ARV, you got to add a premium on top of the ARV.
I like that. Yes, because sometimes the corner appeal, that uniqueness, that cute factor, can be the reason why it goes above the after repair value.
Like how do you put a value on a view? How do you put value on, you know what I mean, how nice and cute the property is? You can't get that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because one of the things when it comes to the BRRRR strategy, one of the R's has been a hot topic recently, and that's the refinancing. And the reason for that is because of just the ever evolving interest rates, whether it's it's going up, it's going down. So let me ask you this: from 30 plus years of being in the real estate, and obviously doing the BRRRR year since you started fix and flipping, which is I'm sure many years ago, is the BRRRR method still viable in 2026, Thach?
Yes. So let me say this: it depends where you live, where you can, because when you do the BRRRR strategy, you guys, and when you refinance, most banks right now are only doing maybe 75% of loan to value. So a property is worth, ARV is worth $1 million. They will lend up to $750,000. So if you can be all in purchase and rehab at 75% of ARV, they will finance 100% of that purchase and rehab. And when you put 20% down on that deal, you will get your money back because you got 75. In markets that are price point are lower, right? Maybe in the Midwest, right? In those areas, they can get very close or even hit the 75%. Now, when you start getting into the markets that's more expensive, California, right? Washington, Las Vegas, Denver, right? Certain part of, Atlanta, Jersey. It's harder to get that because you can't get the house cheap enough to make that happen. And so we gotta start thinking, how do we buy a property where we can create that $1 million ARV? Well, number one, I use me, for example. I like to buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, beat up. And the worse the condition, the better. But I also like buying property, if you have it, everybody, with basement. Because I can finish the basement, add more square footage and more bedroom and bathroom, which I don't pay for it. I buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,000 square feet, but the basement is unfinished, that's another 1,000. I can turn that into a 4.2, 2,000 square feet. Now I spike that ARV.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay.
If you're in California, for example, where most of the houses are ranch level, then is there where we can buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, expand the kitchen a little bit, right? And then make it a little bigger and then add a 3-1 to it. Okay? But that's just the frame of the house. So a lot of time in the expensive market right now, when we rehab the property and we add value by making the house a little bigger, making more bedroom and bath, and then rehabbing it, adding value, forcing value, we might not still hit that 75% of LTV. Yeah. So now what we're doing now, because rates are higher, we have to actually think outside the box. And outside the box now is where you add the BRRRR plus the ADU to it. And the ADU is where you make the garages into living space, or you convert the garage in the backyard into living space, or you build out an ADU in the backyard to create living space. And when the time the bank come and appraise the whole entire thing is appraised now, instead of for $1 million, is appraised for $1.3 million. If you are in for purchase, rehab, and the build of the ADU, you could be at 75% of ARV now. And that's how you do the BRRRR strategy in this market now.
That's amazing. So obviously with the help of ADU, depending on the situation. So let's just break this down, especially for those that are just went right over the head. And correct me please, I might be guilty of this as well. But the first thing you look for is obviously these really good, unique assets. And the example you gave was like a 2-1 with a unfinished basement. Why?
Right.
Because you can finish that basement. In this case, you can add another 2 down below and another bathroom. Now you've made that 2-1 into a 4-2. And like you said, spike that price point. And so knowing that most of when you're refinancing, you can potentially get up to 75% of the value of that property. Your first thing is to make sure that you never exceed that 75% when it comes to putting in an investment. Is that correct? Like, if let's say the house is worth $100,000, you're not putting more than $75,000 into that property.
So here's how it typically works, right? Let's say, for example, let's say it cost me $550,000 to buy the house, and then it cost me $200,000 to rehab it.
That's $750,000 now we're in total.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the bank, typically, depending on your experience, they might want 10% or 20% down of the whole number.
Okay.
So if it's 10%, then it'd be $75,000. Right? If it's 20%, then it's $150,000.
$150K. Okay.
Right? If you can be all in at $750,000 and the thing is worth $1 million, and the bank come and appraise it with 75%, they will loan up to $750,000. That means they will finance 100% of your deal. But if your purchase and rehab is at $750,000, that means they finance 100%. So your 20% down will come back to you in the refi.
Right back to you. There you go. Okay. Perfect explanation. I love that. So one key component to making sure that the BRRRR strategy is still work, because it could work. You have to do it a certain way. You can't just do it on everything. So your strategy is finding those unique assets that you could spike that price on because you see something that someone didn't see. I love that. And in the event you don't have that situation, in this situation, a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom with an unfinished basement, in the event you don't have that situation, you then pivot into what can be expanded within the property so that we can add an additional bath or a bedroom. And then if that's not a viable option, then we pivot into the ADU strategy.
That's right.
How much space is on the lot, or how much can we add to the property itself? And that's, again, through the use of an ADU or an accessory dwelling unit for those that are listening. That's amazing. And now it all makes sense that I don't know if you saw a few moments ago, but as you were saying it, I was like, aha, it connects. Yeah. Now I see why if I go on your social media, the BRRRR and ADU thing.
The reason why we, in the more expensive market, we have to, we're adding value and forcing value. We have to add value, force value, and now we have to, force value also by adding ADU because the interest rate is higher. And so what we need is we need more doors on the same lot to create more income to pay for the mortgage of the property because rates are higher. Now, if you can do this right now and make it cash flow and have equity in today's rate, it's going to be a wash when the rates come down, and you're really going to be killing it. So this is where the hack is. You buy the BRRRR, and you can add more bedroom bath to the main house. And if you still can't get enough, then you convert garages and add ADU to the back to create more door, more unit. And that's how they spike the ARV to get you 75% of the appraised value, and it creates more income. More income help pay the mortgage.
I love that, man. You really broke that down and very well. And with your experience, I think you just gave a lot of people some valuable information to make sure they don't go into a bad BRRRR deal.
And just so everybody knows right now, if you Google, is ADU in your city? I promise you, it is in every city today.
Yeah, it's funny. Southern California, or California in general, I think just about a year or two ago, started implementing loans. Yes. So now they're lending out. These lenders are providing loans for you to add an ADU to your property, and they even help with permitting and all that stuff. Yeah. So definitely check it out. And I believe actually just because it's gotten so popular, PropStream even added an ADU calculator within our property details. So feel free to dab in there. And if you have more questions, obviously reach out to Thach. He can help you there. But Thach, before we leave the topic of BRRRR and ADUs, what's one piece of advice you would like to give to someone out there when it comes to just being careful or about these about the BRRRR strategy? Like, what's something that you experienced that you wish you never experienced, but that you'd like to share with our audience to prevent them from experiencing?
I would say you got heard this a million times. when you buy rental property for long term, the most important thing you look for, it has to be in the right area first. I always say there's 4 market. There's the A, B, C, D market. The A market is the high-end neighborhood. The D market is what I call the rough ghetto neighborhood.
Okay. Where I grew up.
Yep. Where I grew up too, right?
Hey.
And the B's and the C's are basically the everyday people. Okay? Obviously, the B is better than the C, right? Because more stabilized, has more, foot traffic, lots more shopping, right? The C is coming out of the D, and it's become a transition. Like, certain part of Long Beach is C, but then certain part of Long Beach is B. But most of the, back in the day, most of it was in the C's and the D's in Long Beach, right? So when you buy rental property, especially doing the BRRRR and the ADU, you got to make sure that you know where to be in the C market. And the reason why, dollar per square foot to build an ADU, let's call it $300 square foot. It costs the same to build an ADU in the D neighborhood, dollar per square foot, and the B neighborhood. Costs the same. However, the ARV for the D and the B is different. And the rent for the D and the B is different. Well, what I learned from a mistake was I buy in the shitty neighborhood, spend a lot of money on rehab and construction, but you don't get the spike in the ARV and the rent because the demographic there doesn't appreciate it as much as the demographic over here.
Oh my goodness. That's very smart. Yeah. And yeah, I could see where, because you're going to pour in the same amount in the D neighborhood and the B neighborhood. But like you said, the return on investment, it's not going to be the same. 2 different environments.
That's right.
Very,
Time,
very
money,
valuable
energy,
information.
Right? Is the same, but the end result is totally different.
I guess. Very, very valuable piece of advice. Thach, let's time travel really quick. 1991, we're going to go before that.
Yes.
What were you doing before real estate? Like, what made you want to pivot into real estate? Because clearly what you were doing before 1991 wasn't probably something you were passionate in, and so you became a realtor. So who was Thach before real estate? I'm curious.
Man, for some of you guys that don't know, my family evacuated from Vietnam in 1975. I was 5 years old when we left Vietnam. We left the war, and we came here to Seattle, lived in the homeless shelter with $100 and a suitcase for a family of 8. And then I grew up in an area of anybody watching you in Seattle. I grew up in an area called Rainier Valley. The zip code is 98118, and that's the most diverse zip code across America right today. Still today, okay? And I started there, and I went to school, high school, and everything there. When I graduated from high school, I decided to follow my 2 older brother footsteps in the aviation business. Because, Asian folks, it's like, if you're a doctor, you're a pilot, that's the thing, right? You're a doctor, pilot, that's
Sorry, Mom, I'm not a doctor, exactly. But I totally get it.
And as I was growing up, living in that area, I had a lot of friends that I grew up in where some of them was working legit, some of them didn't work legit job. And a lot of them that didn't work the legit job had money, had nice cars. And of course, I always attracted to, success and cars when I was younger, especially hanging around all the different lowrider clubs I used to be part of, right?
Oh, okay.
And so that's how I got into this passion of car, because I used to always love cars. I used to lowride. I do all that stuff.
Yeah, I noticed your social media. You're definitely a car enthusiast. So this all makes sense. So that came from
back
moving
in the days,
into the
right?
States. Okay.
And so when I came out of high school and I went to college, I used to park cars at a Chinese restaurant. And again, this is part of the car thing. And there'd be people coming in with nice cars. I'm thinking, damn, what they do for a living is these nice cars. And that, again, it just fueled the fire for success and for them, for cars. And when I graduated from college in 1991, I didn't have the money to go and move to Denver to go fix every airplane for Alaska Airlines. I wanted to stay home. So I ended up working multiple jobs. In 91, I decided to get into real estate because my friend said, hey, man, if you do real estate, you can make good money, Because I met a guy, I used to park cars at a Chinese restaurant. He was doing real estate, older gentleman. And I used to work for him part-time in the summer, right? And that's where I got hooked. And I got into real estate in 1991 purely so I can have money, so I can have nice cars.
Okay.
I didn't give a shit about real estate.
No, and that's the thing about real estate. But here's the thing too that I also love about real estate. I truly believe like all the experiences that you're going through, all the hardships, all the moments that you've gotten your teeth kicked in, really truly play a role when you are in real estate. That's because right. it creates, obviously it created the resilience in you and the empathy in you to help other people. And it's funny because again, most of the stories I hear, people don't just like plan on being in real estate. It kind of just happens. That's in this right. case, you're valeting cars at that restaurant. You see a nice car. The gentleman's like, hey, check out real estate. Right. And then here we are. But right. what's really interesting is the story. Your family came from Vietnam. You were at the age of 5 when you came to the United States. Let me ask you this question, Thach. You've had quite the experience. Your family came to the U.S., You grew up in a very diverse community. I can assume, based on what you've said, there was a lot of gang life activity. Obviously, being Filipino myself, I totally understand the whole parent part. Yes. They want you to be a certain. They want you to have a certain lifestyle. They want you to have a certain career. They literally have expectations for you that you have to meet before you're even born. I love you, Mom. But let me ask you this. Throughout your life, your early life, what was one very pivotal moment that you think has shaped who you are today? Man. Do you recall that moment?
Oh, I know the moment. I had so many moments. I'm at my work. I'm a realtor at the time, right? John Scott. And I get a page. Thach, can you come to the front office? And I'm like, I wasn't expecting anybody. So I get to the front office, and there was a gentleman and a lady, all suited up, right? Nice, suited up, suitcase, everything. And I walked up, I'm like, can I help you, right? He said, yeah, can we talk in a private space? So I go into a private space, into a conference room, and I said, what can I do for you? They go, well, my name is blank, blank, blank. I work for FBI, and this is blank, 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 and I work for IRS. And I'm here because you sold a house to a client that we picked up from California up to Seattle, right, with like 27 or 28 kilos of cocaine. And you sold them the house, and we had them help. We booked them, and we are doing our investigation for all the people that was part of this ring. And since you sold them the house, we also
they think you're guilty by association.
Got it.
Ugh. Okay, so okay, you're sitting there.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, all of a sudden, bro, my success, the curtain just went black.
Yeah, rug pull.
Like, and the thing is this, I hung around gang. I hung around drug deal. I hung around, but I never do anything, right? I don't question nobody. So, yo, bro, you know what I mean? Right? If you qualify, and get a loan, go for it. Right? Yeah. And you qualify for a loan, I'll take you out and sell your house. No, I don't have no problem with that. See what I mean?
Yeah. Right? And I'll be honest with you. If I could assume, you probably didn't know. And a lot of these guys, I've been grew up in LA. Trust me, a lot of these guys that do this stuff, the really smart ones, you don't even know.
You don't even know.
They blend in. You would never know. They blend in. And when you said 27 plus,
that's the key. Yeah. That's the ringleader, right?
Yep.
So I go hire an attorney, and the attorney says, this is not good because they're probably going to investigate and try to squeeze as much out of you as possible. And if not you, they try to squeeze you so you can snitch to somebody else. That's how it works.
Yeah,
right?
Trying to get to the head. Mm-hmm.
2 years of being indicted. 2 years.
No way. What does that look like? Like for 2 years, are you just... You always feel like you had eyes around your back, or like
phone was tapped. Phone was tapped for 2 years. Right? Oh, wow. Eyes, ears, watching you every move. And here's the crazy thing: the attorney says, you got to keep selling that. At that time I was selling 70, 80, 90 homes a year. You got to keep selling 70, 80, 90 homes a year to prove that those sales ain't selling to drug dealers. Now, the hard thing is when you are in the middle of this, what motivation do you have to keep selling 70, 80 homes a year? Because that's a lot of homes to sell every year, right? So I have a choice. I got to get focused and keep selling, which is I was door knocking 100 doors a day, 5 days a week to get these listings, right? Or give up and stop knocking, and then all of a sudden my sale dip, and then there's more conspiracy on that.
Yes, they'd literally, you would look very suspicious.
That's right.
I could only imagine that would be evidence of your guilt.
And the easy choice is, I don't want to door knock. But the hard part is I need to door knock because I need to make sure I prove my own self.
Correct.
From working. And so, bro, the hardest thing I had to do was to get locked in. To get single-minded focus.
Yeah.
Was to act like success is already certain. I had to act in my mindset like I'm already free. I'm already, right, not guilty. I'm already an 80, 90 deal a year producer still. I had to act, walk, talk. So I had to get my mind, my body, right, everything come out of my mouth. I had to make sure it's aligned. I can't have myself knocking on the door and my mindset is, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because you need your mind, your spirit, your energy, your action all to be aligned. That's where align came in for me.
Yeah, please, man, dude, this is I never knew this about you. You don't really share this stuff. Yeah. This is crazy, man. Thanks for sharing this.
This is not a 2 minutes time I share this. So what happened was for 2 years, I had to act like success is already certain. Yeah. I'm already free. I had to start writing letters and dreams. Like, if I'm already free, what I'll be doing? I'll be traveling here. I'll be doing this. I'll take my parents on vacation. Then I had to act and talk and I have to read my vision and my goal like it's already certain, right? And then I had to get out on the street. I had to door knock every day. But door knocking through the motion is one thing, but door knocking, still getting listing and going on an appointment and converting the listing to the appointment into a listing. It takes another level of focus.
Yep.
So I did that for 2 years. And then one day I get a phone call from my attorney. He says, I don't know where the feds are at, but they ain't called for over 6 months.
Case just dropped.
It's out of the blue. And so that's why today, my license plate, I always tell people, no matter what you do, never stop.
Oh, man. Dreaming big. Yay.
Okay? When you dream big, and when you're in a situation, you got to make sure that your mind, your body, your talk, your voice, everything you speak about is reality. Everything you think about is reality. You got to make sure everything you think about, talk about, right? Emotionally also, right? Has to be aligned. Man. And then no matter what happened, you got to understand, success is always 80% mindset. And the rest of it is basically strategy. So I learned, right? That's why do you think the merchandise for Thach and Springboard is mindset? Because I live mindset. I lived all this.
Yeah. Man, talk about being under pressure. But as they say, pressures make diamonds.
You got it, baby.
So here you go. If you don't mind me asking you, Thach, man, you just have this willpower. You have this just ability to just keen in on your focus and go from there. Who are some role models in your life? Like who do you look up to, if you don't mind me asking? I'm just curious, kind of. As a kid, I grew up watching TV, and so we could have, for me, it would be like Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, wanted to dance like him and stuff like that, and entertain like him, and, got some actor role model. But, for you, who was your role model growing up?
When I was growing up and coming out this whole time, I didn't really have a role model teacher that really was, like the mindset coach, right? Like my real estate investor coach was all about teaching me how to invest, right? I would say that the guy who was really teaching me about mindset at the time was Tony Robbins. I did a lot of Tony Robbins work in my younger years, right? I did the fire walking, to practice mindset, right? Practice focus, practice align, right? And I did a lot of that. I listened to a lot of his stuff, went to a lot of seminar, and that was probably my biggest guy who I followed for many years to learn all that stuff. And then a lot of the mindset I learned is from just trial and error. You know what I mean? Like when struggle happen, are you going to step up or are you going to fold? And I've been put in too many situations where I can't afford to fold. That story I just showed you, I got to step up. You see what I mean? And I had to really practice what I learned. And anybody can do it. It's just we don't do it until we have to do it. But today, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm always backed up to the wall to do it. And that's why I'd rather do it by design versus by default today.
I love that. That's amazing, man. Yeah, talk about an experience in the past, and like you said, based on everything you've experienced, having Tony Robbins as a mentor, or just learning his material, going through that situation with the FBI for 2 years, I could definitely see,
and
how
that's,
that
and I'll tell you guys,
mindset.
and that whole FBI thing, that's only one of the many story about focus mindset.
Yeah, that's amazing. If I could ask you this question, the parents, you clearly didn't become the aviator, the doctor.
Yeah.
How do mom and dad feel about that?
My mom and dad was actually pretty chill compared to most parents I see growing up, right?
Nice.
I think my mom and dad definitely, love the aviation business.
Okay.
But I think my mom and dad was a lot more laid back than most Asian parent. They didn't really care what we did, right? And they was really cool about it. You know what I mean? They wasn't disappointed that I didn't do aviation with my two older brother. But today, of course, they are grateful that I found my passion, real estate. And today, I take care of, my mom, my dad. When my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and I take care of Cammy's mom. I take care of a lot of my brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? And of course, a lot of the people in the community, you know what I mean, today, right? So, but, I look back today, bro, it's so crazy how my whole story come full circle, right? Come from Vietnam with nothing. And my dad was a social worker, helping less fortunate people. And then I get into real estate, not aviation, real estate. Because when we came here, there was a guy named Charles Zettler that sponsored our family to go live with him and his mom, right?
Wow.
For 2 years, right?
Shout out to Charles.
Shout out to Charles, right? And so how coincidence it is when I talk about full circle today that my dad was a social worker helping people. I get into real estate to help people get in housing when Charles helped us get into housing. And I get into real estate and I had known nothing about real estate, bro. I mean, literally zero. How is it that today, right? How is it that so perfectly aligned? So perfectly aligned where I found my passion, I found my calling, and I'm one of the very few people that make a lot of money in real estate. And that's why today, my vision today is to inspire and empower millions of people to reach for their goals and dream and see that anything is possible by me just sharing my own journey and my story. The wins and the loses every day.
I love it.
That's
Dude.
Today.
Yes, it is. And that's why I needed to get you on our show. I know your story and, coming from, Vietnam and then going up through a very tough neighborhood and having these tough experiences, but your resilience, your mindset, Thach, that's one thing I love about you, is just that mindset that you have. And then here you are, 30 years into the real estate, you found amazing success. So yeah, absolutely full circle. You're now putting homeowners into houses that they love and they dream and they think is cute because you're creating them.
Yeah. And today helping real estate investor, right, create the American dream for their own family, create that generational wealth for their family.
Yeah, you've now become Charles himself, as you're now helping other people. Like you're the spark to their fire, and they're starting their full circle.
You got it, bro.
I absolutely love that. Again, I truly believe everything that we've gone through in life is supposed to happen.
Always.
And if you allow it to happen, you embrace it, but you stay strong and you fight through it. It will become your ammunition to help not just you and your family and your legacy, but those around you as well. And that you're a perfect example of that. So kudos to you. And you actually kind of answered our third segment. I was going to ask you, is there learning everything we've, have learned so far in this conversation, what's a full circle moment for you? And you literally just answered that. So that gives me a little bit more time with you. So let's do this. I want two questions for you, because I think this one's going to be important to those that are just like us, right? Yep. Coming to the United States with little to nothing. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for doing that. Thank you for the sacrifices you made for not just me, but shout out to Thach's parents for doing the same. Thach, for someone out there who just came to the United States, or it doesn't even have to be that, for someone out there who has little to nothing, what would you say is the best start for them into real estate? Because clearly they can't just go into the BRRRR strategy. Right. So what advice would you give to someone who's starting from scratch or may have lost everything and then they have to hit that reset button? Like, what's your biggest advice to them?
If you got a job, use your job as the cash flow to feed your investment opportunity at the beginning. Don't be in a hurry of leaving your 9 to 5 to hurry up and try to get the cash flow, because the cash flow on the rental takes time to buy and to pay down to get the cash flow. So don't make it wrong by you still working 9 to 5, because you need the 9 to 5 to get bank qualification and cash to buy the rental. Okay? So that. If you lost everything, then I would say to you that if you ever thought about being a realtor, it's a great vehicle to go out there and learn real estate and get paid at the same time, helping people get into real estate. Or go get a 9 to 5 job and then get that job to produce money, and then you start to get into real estate. Also, there's another thing called wholesaling. Learn how to find opportunity and then sell those opportunities, right, deals to investor and make money. You only need, if it's your first time buying a property, 3.5% down on a property. So if you make the money and you want to start owning real estate, I would buy either a single family up to a fourplex with 3.5% down, live in one side, rent the rest, and that would be someplace you live, and also starting to build your rental. Live there for a year, turn that one door into a rental. Now you got 4 rent over there, and then go duplicate that whole thing again and buy yourself another fourplex with 3.5% down. And these are the little steps that you can do and just get going. And again, with PropStream, you guys can easily find these deals off market too. If in your area the market is tough, right? Pull a list from single family to fourplex and start making those marketing calls over there or mailing and start finding those deals.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. Thank you so much for that. Actually, let's add one more avatar to this advice. What about someone who's just going through it mentally right now? Like, what advice would you give them to help them get out of that mental rut?
If you can go get this book called Ask and It Is Given, it will change your life. Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. You read that book, you guys, it's a very small book. It will change the way you think.
I always love that. I always love when a book inspires or, again, has you just think slightly different, because what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result. It's not going to happen.
And this is why I said, if you're in a funk, all it is a mindset funk. the strategy still work. You just can't implement the strategy because you're mentally in the funk. And that's why it's important that you actually got to get your mindset always straight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thach, I just want to thank you so much, man. You've given nothing but amazing advice. And thank you for letting us peek into your world, experience what you've experienced and share and learn from you. You gave valuable advice. Hopefully the advice that you gave will prevent someone from losing a lot. And maybe being indicted for 2 years as well. So thank you for doing that. I want to, before we leave off, I want to give you an open mic, but I just had one personal question for you. I can't help but notice you are a car guy. And you got the Lambo, you got the Rolls Royce. Obviously, you talked about lowriders back in the day. Did you have a lowrider back in the day?
Oh, yeah, bro. I had 62s. 63 Impala. I had Cadillac.
No
coupes,
way.
all candied out. You know what I mean? Hopping. You know what I mean? You name it. Three-wheeling, everything.
And now you have some exotic cars. What are the cars that sit in your garage right now?
Right now, I wish I could bring my camera so I can see it. Right. But I have a Lamborghini Urus wide body. Right. Custom done. Yep. I have my F8 Spider custom done. Right. One of one. I have the new Lamborghini Revolto, right? Custom done, one of one. I have my Rolls Royce Spectra, right? One of one, custom done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have my Bentley Flying Spur, custom done, and my G-Wagon, custom done. And just so you guys know, these plates are real plates. These are on my car. This is on my Rolls Royce. This is on my Lamborghini Urus. This mindset is on my Lamborghini Revolto. This is my F8, right? And so, yeah. So, those are just little fun little things that come along with perks of working hard.
Absolutely. And help and pouring into other people. Let's face it, because when you pour into other people, they pour right back into your cup. So you are a true testament to that. And you know what I'm going to say? I love your car collection, but you know which car I love the most?
My Honda.
Yes, sir. It's your daily driver. Every time I see you riding in that, I'm like, that. You could ride all these other cars, but it's the Honda that you choose.
Right. I got a Honda Accord
I love you for that.
I got a Honda Accord 1989, you guys, and we drive that shit all the time, man. We're out there making videos, like knocking on doors.
No one will know this guy has like $3 million of cars sitting in his garage when you're in that bad boy. I truly love that. Thach, brother, you are an amazing human being. Thank you for being here. I'm going to give you the microphone. Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience? Anybody you'd like to talk to? I mean,
I'm just gonna read you guys a quote, a simple little quote, right? And I think that y'all will appreciate this, right? Hold on here. Let me get it for you. All right, this is my favorite quote. The Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, answer, man. Because he sacrificed his health, his family, his well-being, his relationship with others in order to make money. Then he sacrificed money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then die having never really lived. So when I tell everyone out there, we all have already arrived. Remember, success is not where you are and where you need to be at or want to be at. Success is where you are, how far you came. So if you're really looking from that perspective, we all have arrived. So stop trying to arrive and just enjoy the now.
Very well said. That was amazing. And what better way to end it on that? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this amazing episode with our special guest, Thach Nguyen. Thach, how can people get a hold of you? Man, you've said a lot. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of fans out of this, a lot of followers. Even if it's just one that you inspired, I think that's well worth it. But how can we follow you? What social platforms are you on?
If you guys just type in my name, Thach Nguyen, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I drop YouTube video every single week. Matter of fact, soon I hang up here. I'm about to go shoot 2 YouTube video right now. Stay tuned for it. The 2 video I'm making today is gonna be the 10th thing I look for when hiring a property manager, and then the 10th thing I look for when I'm looking for the deal Thach want to buy.
Yeah, take a look at those videos. We'll try to do our best to link them in the description below. But Thach, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And thank you, viewers, for listening or watching this episode. But until next time, check out our next episode of PropStream Pros. My name is Burton.
Thanks for tuning in to the PropStream Pros Podcast. Subscribe for weekly insights and real strategies to help you close more deals. See you next time.